He stood on that stand, confident, tearful, determined, refusing to believe she could do it. I can't see her doing something like that," he kept saying, voice cracking as he watched evidence unfold on a screen that made the life he thought he knew look foreign, the woman he had vowed to love and protect. Once a respected crime scene technician, was now accused of something unthinkable, and the person at the center of it all was her close friend. What happened next left even the judge speechless, so much so that the sentence was handed down immediately after the verdict. Without delay or hesitation, "I'm going to sentence you to life with a mandatory minimum 25 years, the judge declared. This is the case of Ashley MacArthur, who buried her own friend, then buried the truth from her husband until it was all exposed in court. Taylor Wright, a former police officer turned private investigator in Pensacola, was bright, resilient, fiercely independent, and not just smart but driven. After leaving law enforcement, she carved a path in the pie world on her own terms, refusing to be boxed in by anyone. But behind that confident exterior was a woman going through major life changes. A messy divorce, a custody battle, and mounting financial pressure. She was trusting fewer people and keeping her circle tight. When she disappeared in September 2017, after spending the day with Ashley, those closest to her were stunned and suspicious. As the search intensified, investigators turned to Ashley MacArthur, a former crime scene technician and once one of Taylor's closest friends. The deeper detectives dug, the clearer it became. Taylor's disappearance wasn't random, it was calculated. And the most chilling part was that the clues came from someone trained to hide them. Ashley was the last person known to have seen Taylor alive. She had the background that should have helped solve the case, yet instead it helped her cover it up, at least for a while. Cracks began to show, inconsistencies, shifting stories, and then the money, the $34 Taylor had pulled from a shared account just before she vanished. Money Ashley was supposed to hold for safekeeping, but that money disappeared just like Taylor. When the truth finally came out, it shocked everyone, especially the courtroom. On September 8, 2017, Taylor vanished after spending the day with Ashley. She missed dinner plans, texted her girlfriend that she needed space, but something felt off. This wasn't like Taylor. She didn't just go silent or flake out. And in the middle of a custody battle and divorce, dropping off the grid was more than strange. It was dangerous. Her girlfriend Cassandra knew something was wrong. The text felt cold, robotic, not like Taylor at all. When days passed with no word, no sightings, and no digital trail, fear turned to panic. Investigators checked Uber and taxi records. Nothing. No driver ever called, no ride ever taken, and Taylor's phone never left the area. Then cell tower data became the turning point. Taylor's phone pinged near a family-owned farm, tied directly to Ashley. Minutes after Ashley left the station, searchers combing the MacArthur family farm uncovered something horrifying. Skeletal remains buried in a shallow grave, masked with concrete, potting soil, and cinder blocks, the kind of concealment only someone with forensic knowledge might think to use. Among the bones lay Taylor's iconic bullet necklace, the one she was never seen without. With that discovery, Taylor Wright was no longer a missing person, but a homicide victim. Attention turned to Zach MacArthur, Ashley's husband, called in for questioning. He was shaken but loyal, insisting he didn't know anything and refusing to believe Ashley could be capable of murder. I can't see her doing something like that," he told detectives, repeatedly defending her intelligence and character even as the timeline and evidence closed in. He claimed he wasn't that guy, that he didn't break the law, and that he'd run from anything criminal if asked to help. Yet in court, as the interrogation tapes and evidence played, his certainty began to fracture. In the courtroom, Ashley's calm, collected, almost rehearsed explanations crumbled under the weight of evidence. Surveillance footage, phone records, and data from her own phone told a different story than the one she offered investigators. She'd told detectives Taylor just needed space, that she had left and taken the cash she'd withdrawn, but phone towers showed the two devices communicating off the same tower minutes apart. Text messages that supposedly came from Taylor looked wrong and robotic, and when prosecutors brought out bank records, They showed the 30 for dollars. Zero Taylor had trusted Ashley with was deposited into Ashley's joint account and spent on trips, gifts, and luxuries. Surveillance footage captured Ashley buying concrete and potting soil the day after Taylor vanished. The same combination later found concealing Taylor's remains at the MacArthur farm, where Ashley's phone was secretly pinged. Witnesses testified that Ashley had openly talked about drugging Taylor's beer to stage an overdose, and prosecutors argued that when Taylor resisted and spat out the drugged drink, Ashley pulled the trigger. During the recorded interrogation played for the jury, detectives pressed Ashley, "Your phone and her phone are communicating off the same tower, 8 minutes apart. Why do you have her phone?" Ashley denied having it, claimed she didn't know how it ended up in her truck, and suggested Taylor had left with her phone, but the phone evidence said otherwise. As the jury watched surveillance, bank statements, purchases, and interrogation tapes, the lies unraveled and the portrait that emerged was of a calculated, premeditated act, aided by the very forensic knowledge Ashley once used to solve crimes. The jury returned a guilty verdict, first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm. The judge adjudicated straight away, sentencing Ashley Britt MacArthur to life in state prison with a mandatory minimum of 25 years for the firearm, with credit for 327 days. That sentence runs concurrent with any other sentences she's serving, and, stacked atop prior convictions for fraud and racketeering, ensures her prison time stretches far beyond 3 decades. She now sits behind bars at the Lowell Correctional Institution. Taylor Wright's family, her young son, and the people who loved her are left to grieve and to heal from a betrayal so deep it remains hard to fathom. No matter how deeply we love someone or how hard we hold onto hope, sometimes the truth is louder than loyalty. Do you think Ashley's husband really had no idea, or was he turning a blind eye all along? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real courtroom moments. Thanks for watching.